Good morning on this Monday, October 16th. We're now starting week number 4. And as always, I'm going to give you a little overview of the chapter for this week. Notice that we also have midterm number 1 due this coming weekend. So keep that in mind. And just to show you the calendar, basically, the same thing as you see in the calendar and also the weekly agenda announcement. I'm going to show you here. You've got, as you already know, reading check 12 due this coming Wednesday in my accounting lab. Homework 12 due on Sunday. The usual class participation posting and discussions for this week due by Sunday as well. Your AT4, meaning your attendance check-in, due in the module by Tuesday, and then finally the exam due also by Sunday. So now you can actually, obviously, you should advance your work for the homework at least ahead of the midterm exam. That's just my suggestion, but you have flexibility for the week to do that. Having said that, let's go to the overview. And as always, there's in this case, there will be 3 slides, so it will be a little simpler than the last couple. And in this case, we're talking about partnerships. And as always, I'll give you the topics, which are down here anyway. Here's a link to the module, and if I click on that, it will get me to the module in our Canvas site, and so it will navigate now right to the right module. So I'm going to come back to this in a second. And then I also show you the answer keys for 12, so you can actually use that to, as always, review your static problems from the textbook. And then I'll also show you a little bit of a few notes regarding these 6 learning objectives for this chapter. So we're accounting for partnerships. And in this case, they walk you through the life cycle of a partnership. So firstly, they give you some general information about what is a partnership and how or which types exist. They're also going to then move on to formation of a partnership, how to divide or allocate profits and losses among the partners, how to admit a new partner. Sometimes you admit a partner with or without a bonus. And then how to withdraw a partner. And finally, how to liquidate or how to finalize the partnership. And so here's some of the notes. There's going to be, again, learning objective number 1. They'll talk to you about what's something called the partnership agreement. There's also some concepts, limited life or a partnership, unless the agreement says something else. There's something called mutual agency, limited liability. And instead of having equity, you're going to have capital accounts for each partner. So learn what these are. If you go to the lecture notes, you'll see that I have given you some of these already there. There's going to be some exhibits that is going to be kind of useful for you for this week. Exhibit 12.1 gives you an overview of the advantages and disadvantages of having a partnership as a form of business, as opposed to a corporation or a proprietorship. There are here's some of the types. There's general, limited partnerships. There's something that is not technically a partnership. It's a limited liability company, but in terms of taxation, it is treated as a partnership if you elect to go and be treated as a partnership by the IRS, for example. There is also something called an S corp. Is in that case similar to an LLC. You are a corporation for liability purposes, but you're able to then be taxed as a partnership, which is at times advantageous. There's also learning objective number 2, which talks a little bit about formation and about balance sheet for the partnership, which looks pretty much the same as other balance sheets you've seen already up to this point, but it has a couple of differences. And finally, again, you go into the life cycle of the partnership in terms of accounting. They give you, or they show you how to allocate profits, how to admit a partner, either by purchasing, or if sometimes a partner will sell their interest in the partnership directly to somebody else with the agreement with the other partners. So in that case, it is actually an admission of a partner, basically with from the outside. So there's no involvement by the partnership itself, as opposed to being admitted by the partnership itself. And in that case, that you have two other situations. You either admit a partner with a bonus to the existing partners, or a bonus to the new partner. And you see what that means when you read the chapter. There's also a withdrawal of a partner. At times when a partner withdraws, if their capital account is negative, then they have to contribute more to make things even. So you see that when you get to that section. And that also comes into play when you liquidate a partnership. And in that case, it's a process, and the process will actually follow these three different transactions. So again, read the textbook first. And as always, if you have questions, you can always go into the module and post your questions, either, most likely best if you put it here into these discussion threads. You can actually do so, and at the same time you get your class participation requirement done. In terms of lecture notes, if we click on this lecture note, we as you always know, we go to this type of lecture note. It has a couple of sections. We start off from there. You see that I have some notes here that I have placed, including some of the videos that come either from the publisher through the multimedia lab, or in this case, I also added one from YouTube. So go ahead and review these videos. Here are some of the definitions that I talked about. Here are some of the exhibits. And you keep moving. Here you learn how to account for the different transactions for the life cycle of a partnership. And so I give you some generic journal entries. You can see how the general approach should be. So he follows all of the life cycles, and here's some examples you can follow at the bottom here. So go ahead and review these, and again, if you have questions, use the discussion threads that I have provided for you. For now, that's all. And again, don't forget, we have this exam this coming Sunday. The exam itself is accessible from Friday at 6 a.m. Once you enter, you will need to finish the exam, so make sure that you're ready and you have a good internet, because you want to be able to reopen it. So once you enter it, you have a couple of hours to finish the exam. There's detail in an announcement that will come out on Monday at 9 a.m. And so you can actually review that to see the detail. Now, there's also a practice exam that will be available for you starting on Monday all the way through midnight of Thursday. So the exam itself, this one, the actual midterm exam and the practice exams, are not going to be open together. So make sure you take advantage of the one attempt in the practice exam up to Thursday, and then take the exam itself anytime between Friday and Sunday. Good luck. Take care. Bye-bye.